The paradox of letting go, finding true fulfillment. Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the more it seems to slip away? Success, happiness, love, they always feel within reach, yet somehow they manage to elude us when we try to grasp them with all our might. Why is it that the things we desire most seem just beyond our reach? A profound Zen saying offers an answer. When you stop caring, results come. It's a paradox, isn't it? We are constantly told to push harder, strive more, and never stop chasing our dreams. But what if the real secret to fulfillment isn't about holding on tighter, but about learning to let go? Think about it. Have you ever been so fixated on controlling every outcome that it left you feeling stressed, frustrated, or even burned out? What if the very act of clinging is what's keeping you stuck? Here's a truth many overlook. Attachment doesn't bring freedom, it brings suffering. But when you let go, something powerful happens. You gain inner peace, clarity, and, ironically, the very results you were chasing start to flow into your life effortlessly. In this journey, we'll explore the wisdom of Zen and Buddhism. You'll discover how releasing the need to control everything can lead to greater freedom and joy. And by the end, you'll realize that surrender isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your life in a way that truly matters. If you've ever felt trapped by your own expectations, this may be the insight that changes everything. Let's dive in. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. There's a beautiful Zen story about a monk who spent years meditating by a tranquil river. One day, a traveler approached him, overwhelmed by life's chaos, work, relationships, and the constant urge to control every detail. The monk listened patiently, then pointed to the river and said, "Do you see how the river flows? It doesn't stop for the rocks in its path, it moves around them. You must be like the river, focus on what you can control and let go of the rest." This simple yet profound wisdom reflects one of life's greatest truths. Freedom begins when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises from clinging to things we cannot change, whether it's outcomes, people, or circumstances. The Buddha urged us to focus instead on our actions, our attitudes, and the peace we cultivate within. A philosopher once put it this way: the chief task in life is to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you truly embraced this idea. Think back to a time when you felt stressed, maybe a conflict at work where you felt unheard or unappreciated. How much energy did you waste trying to change someone else's behavior or control the outcome? Now ask yourself, what if instead you had focused on your own professionalism, composure, and grace? When we stop clinging to what isn't ours to control, we reclaim the power to shape our own destiny. This isn't about indifference, it's about clarity. You don't stop caring entirely, you simply stop investing energy in things that drain you unnecessarily. Like the river that flows effortlessly around obstacles, your energy becomes unstoppable when it's not wasted on resistance. How to apply this principle? 1. Identify your sphere of control. Reflect on what is truly within your power. Is it your effort, your attitude, your response to challenges? Start there. 2. Release the rest. Acknowledge the things you can't change, other people's opinions, the past, unpredictable events, and make a conscious decision to let them go. 3. Redirect your energy. Focus your efforts on actions that align with your values and goals. Ask yourself, what weight am I carrying that isn't mine to hold? When you let go, you free yourself, and in that freedom, the results you seek will come naturally, just like the river finding its way to the ocean. Take one step today to release an attachment that's been holding you back. Principle 2. Embrace life's imperfections. A man once approached a Zen master, burdened by his failures. "I try so hard to make everything perfect," he said, "but nothing ever turns out the way I want it to." The master smiled and handed him a cracked teacup. "Drink," he said. The man hesitated. "But it's imperfect," he replied. The master nodded gently. "And yet it still holds the tea." This simple exchange reveals a profound truth. Perfection isn't the goal, acceptance is. Buddhism teaches that suffering often arises from our resistance to reality, our desire to force life into a mold that doesn't fit. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when everything is perfect." But perfection is an illusion, always just out of reach. The Buddha taught that demanding perfection invites frustration and suffering. Life is inherently imperfect, and therein lies its beauty. The seasons change. Flowers bloom and wither. Even the moon, with all its craters, remains magnificent. Each moment, with all its flaws, holds wisdom, if we are open to it. Think back to a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe a work project that didn't meet your expectations, or a relationship that hit a rough patch. How much time did you spend mourning what should have been instead of learning from what was? The truth is, when we release the need for perfection, we create space for growth. Today's world often teaches us to fear mistakes, to see imperfections as failures. But Zen wisdom invites us to look at those cracks differently. They're not flaws, they're where the light enters. Think of an artist who embraces imperfections in their work. They find beauty in a crooked line or a smudged stroke. Life is no different. It's the imperfect moments that teach us resilience, creativity, and grace. How to embrace imperfection in your life. 1. Shift your perspective. When things don't go as planned, pause. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Mistakes aren't obstacles, they're stepping stones. 2. Practice self-compassion. Stop punishing yourself for your flaws. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Progress is more important than perfection. 3. Find beauty in the flaws. Look for the hidden beauty in what's broken or unfinished. Whether it's a chipped teacup or an unexpected detour, these moments remind us of life's unique charm. Ask yourself, what am I resisting because it's not perfect? When you stop clinging to perfection, you unlock freedom. Suddenly, mistakes become opportunities, flaws transform into teachers, and life itself becomes richer. Just like the cracked teacup still holds tea, you, imperfect and real, are more than enough. Today, take one small step toward embracing life as it is, not as you think it should be. The art of letting go, finding peace in the present. We've explored how releasing control and embracing imperfections can transform our lives. Now let's dive into another powerful truth. Mindfulness and perspective shape our reality. The key to peace isn't found in controlling the outside world, but in mastering how we experience it. Principle 3. Practice mindfulness. There's an old Zen story where a student asked his master, "What is the secret to a peaceful life?" The master simply handed him a cup of tea and said, "Drink this." As the student sipped, his mind wandered, thinking about chores, tasks, and future worries. Sensing this, the master gently took the cup away and said, "When you drink tea, just drink tea." This simple exchange holds profound wisdom. True peace is found in the present moment. Yet, how often do we live anywhere but now? Our minds race ahead, consumed by worries about the future, or cling to the past, replaying regrets. In doing so, we miss the one moment we truly have, the present. The Buddha taught that the present is the only moment we can control. Dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future creates suffering because neither can be changed. But the present, That's where our power lies. Think about a time when you were truly present. Maybe it was watching a sunset, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze on your skin. In that moment, you weren't burdened by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. You were simply there, fully alive. Mindfulness roots us in this moment, reminding us that peace isn't about solving every problem, but about being fully engaged in each breath. In today's fast-paced world, mindfulness can feel like a luxury, but it's actually a necessity. Anxiety over the future and regrets from the past drain our energy and rob us of joy. The good news? Mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation. It starts with small moments of awareness. How to practice mindfulness in everyday life. 1. Start with your breath. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the air fill your lungs. Even one mindful breath can anchor you in the present. 2. Engage your senses. When eating a meal, walking outside, or listening to music, pay attention to the taste, the sound, the texture of what surrounds you. 3. Pause and notice. When your mind starts spiraling into worry or regret, gently bring it back. Ask yourself, what is happening right now? Mindfulness isn't about stopping thoughts. It's about noticing them and returning to the present. Ask yourself, what beauty am I missing because I'm not paying attention? When you practice mindfulness, you stop being distracted by things that pull you away from the now. In return, you gain clarity, peace, and presence. Take one mindful breath today and let it remind you, this moment is enough. Principle 4. Perspective is everything. There's a famous Zen parable about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors exclaimed, "What terrible luck!" The farmer calmly replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned, bringing a wild stallion with it. The neighbors cheered, "What great fortune!" Again, the farmer simply said, "Maybe." Later, the farmer's son tried to tame the wild horse and fell, breaking his leg. The neighbors lamented, "Such misfortune." Once more, the farmer said, "Maybe." Days later, soldiers came to recruit young men for war, but passed over the farmer's son because of his injury. The neighbors celebrated, "What a blessing!" And the farmer responded once again, "Maybe." This story illustrates a profound truth. It's not the events themselves, but our perspective on them that shapes our peace. Buddhist philosophy echoes this wisdom. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Life is full of challenges. Relationships end, careers falter, plans go awry. When setbacks arise, it's easy to label them as failures and spiral into frustration or self-pity. But what if, instead of resisting, we reframed these moments? What if every setback became an opportunity to grow, pivot, or start fresh? Consider a job rejection. At first, it feels like the door to your dreams has slammed shut. But what if that rejection is pushing you towards something better? A passion you've overlooked, or a job that aligns more closely with your values? Reframing doesn't deny the pain. It acknowledges it while opening the door to new possibilities. How to shift your perspective. 1. Pause and reflect. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to react immediately. Ask yourself, what might this situation be teaching me? 2. Find the opportunity. Look beyond the surface. What lessons or new paths might emerge from this experience? 3. Let go of labels. Stop categorizing events as good or bad. Trust that even in adversity, growth is happening. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our judgments create unnecessary suffering. By shifting our perspective, we reclaim the power to shape our reality. As the Dalai Lama once said, sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I see differently? When you stop labeling every experience, you create space for transformation. Life becomes less about what happens and more about how you choose to see it. Today, embrace a challenge as an opportunity and watch your life shift in ways you never imagined. Principle 5. Let go of entitlement. There's a story about a wandering monk who sought shelter during a storm. He approached a grand mansion and asked for refuge, but the owner turned him away. Soaked and cold, the monk found an old, broken-down shed nearby and rested there for the night. In the morning he smiled as he watched the sunrise, its golden rays illuminating the shed's cracks. "Even this humble shelter is more than I deserve," he whispered to himself. This story holds a profound teaching. Life owes us nothing, yet it gives us everything. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering often comes from entitlement, the belief that we deserve a certain outcome, a certain life, or certain treatment from others. We tell ourselves, "I deserve happiness. I deserve recognition. I deserve success." But the truth is, life doesn't operate on what we deserve. It flows as it will, like the river, like the wind. When we cling to entitlement, we create suffering. But when we replace entitlement with gratitude, we unlock joy. The monk in the story could have complained about the storm, the rejection, or the poor shelter. Instead, he found gratitude in the smallest of things, the warmth of the morning sun. How to let go of entitlement. 1. Practice gratitude. Each day, list 3 things you're grateful for. Even the simplest blessings, clean water, fresh air, are gifts. 2. Release expectations. Accept that life doesn't owe you anything. When you stop demanding, you start appreciating. 3. Adopt a beginner's mind. Approach each experience with curiosity rather than entitlement. See life as something to explore, not something to control. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to because I think I deserve it? What happens if I let go? When you release entitlement, you stop focusing on what you lack and start appreciating what you have. And that shift makes all the difference. Letting go, finding freedom in change and forgiveness. As we continue exploring the wisdom of letting go, we arrive at 2 essential principles: accepting change and cultivating forgiveness. Both require us to release control, both ask us to trust the natural flow of life, and both, when embraced, bring profound peace. Principle 6. Accept change. A wise monk once said, "A river never fights the current. It flows, adapting to every bend and obstacle, because it knows this truth: nothing stays the same." This is the essence of impermanence, a central teaching in Buddhist philosophy. The Buddha taught that everything in life is temporary: our successes, our failures, our joys, and our sorrows. And yet we resist this truth. We cling tightly to what was. We fear what might come. Think about the seasons. Summer fades into autumn, which gives way to winter, and then spring. We accept this without question. Yet when life brings its own seasons, when relationships end, careers shift, or circumstances change, we fight against it. We hold on, wishing things could stay as they were, but resisting change doesn't stop it. It only creates suffering. What happens when we embrace change? Imagine someone whose career suddenly takes a turn. Perhaps their company closes, or they're passed over for a promotion. At first, they feel lost, even angry. But what if, instead of resisting, they lean into change? What if they saw this as an opportunity to explore a new path, one they might never have considered otherwise? Change, while uncomfortable, often brings growth and transformation. Modern life is full of transitions, moving cities, evolving friendships, aging. The more we cling to the past or fear the future, the harder these changes become. But when we accept impermanence, we see the beauty in endings and the possibilities in beginnings. A failed relationship may hurt deeply, but it also clears space for someone more aligned with who you are becoming. How to embrace change in your life. 1. Acknowledge your resistance. When change happens, notice your feelings. What are you clinging to? Simply recognizing this is the first step. 2. Reframe endings as beginnings. Instead of focusing on what you're losing, ask, what new opportunities might this bring? 3. Stay present. Change feels overwhelming when we project too far into the future. Focus on the now. Take one small step forward. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that change is not the enemy, it's the natural flow of life. As the Zen saying goes, when you let go, you create space for what's next. Ask yourself, what change am I resisting that could lead to growth? When you stop clinging to the past, you free yourself to grow, evolve, and embrace the unknown. Today, trust the flow of life. Let go of what was and welcome what's to come. Principle 7. Cultivate forgiveness. There's a story of two monks traveling together. At one point, they reached a river with a strong current. A woman stood at the edge, hesitant and afraid to cross. One monk offered to carry her across, even though their vows forbade touching a woman. She accepted, and he carried her on his back. Hours later, after they had continued their journey, the second monk couldn't hold back his frustration. "How could you break your vows like that?" he asked. The first monk simply smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago." Why are you still carrying her? This story holds a powerful truth. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When someone wrongs us, it's easy to carry resentment, replaying the hurt in our minds over and over. But the weight of that anger doesn't punish the other person. It punishes us. What happens when we let go of resentment? Think of a betrayal by someone you trusted, a friend who broke your confidence, or a partner who was unfaithful. The initial sting is sharp, but what happens when you keep holding on to that pain? It seeps into every corner of your life, making it hard to trust, hard to love, and hard to grow. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what happened. It doesn't mean letting the person back into your life. It means releasing your grip on the anger that's holding you hostage. Buddhist teachings emphasize that forgiveness is not for the benefit of the other person, it's for your own peace. Letting go creates space for healing and transformation. Consider this. A tree battered by a storm doesn't blame the wind. It adapts, growing stronger roots and branches. Similarly, your pain can become a source of growth if you let it. How to cultivate forgiveness. 1. Acknowledge the hurt. Don't suppress or deny your feelings. Name them and accept their presence. Second, shift your focus. Instead of fixating on the wrongdoing, ask, what can this experience teach me about myself? Use the pain to develop empathy, boundaries, and self-respect. 3. Release with compassion. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Wish the person well, sometimes from a distance, and let them go. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This doesn't mean you must love those who hurt you, but it does mean releasing the poison of anger to allow love and peace to fill the void. Ask yourself, what resentment am I still carrying? When you stop clinging to past wounds, you free yourself to heal. Today, set down your burdens and walk forward lighter. Final reflection, the power of letting go. Throughout this journey, we've explored key principles of peace and freedom. 1. Embracing imperfection. You are enough, even with your flaws. 2. Practicing mindfulness. True peace is found in the present. 3. Shifting perspective. It's not what happens, but how you see it. 4. letting go of entitlement. Life owes us nothing, but gives us everything. 5. Accepting change. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates growth. 6. Cultivating forgiveness. Release the past to set yourself free. The heart of all these teachings? Let go. Let go of perfection. Let go of expectations. Let go of resistance. Let go of resentment. Because when you do, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. Peace, clarity, freedom. So today, ask yourself, what can I let go of to live more fully, more freely, more joyfully? And then breathe in, breathe out, and let it go. The art of letting go, embracing silence, fate, and mortality. As we continue this journey toward inner peace, we arrive at 3 final principles: embracing silence, loving your fate, and remembering mortality. These teachings invite us to pause, accept, and awaken to the beauty of the present moment. Principle 8. Silence is golden. There is a Zen proverb that says, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." In its simplicity lies profound wisdom. Imagine a still, clear pond. When undisturbed, it reflects the world perfectly, the sky, the trees, and even the smallest details. But throw a stone into it, and the ripples distort everything. Our words are like stones. When used carelessly, they disrupt harmony, often creating more chaos than clarity. The power of silence in conflict. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument, perhaps with a loved one or a colleague. As emotions ran high, you may have said things you later regretted, words that escalated the conflict instead of calming it. In moments of tension, silence can be your greatest ally. It is not weakness, it is strength, a conscious choice to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Buddhism teaches the value of right speech, a principle of the Noble Eightfold Path. It urges us to speak truthfully, kindly, and only when necessary. When you practice this, your words become tools for connection rather than weapons of division. Silence allows you to step back, observe your emotions, and decide whether speaking will bring healing or harm. Imagine this: a parent, frustrated by their child's mistakes, feels the impulse to react, to scold. But what if, instead, they paused in silence? In that space, they might recognize the child's fear or confusion. Their words could shift from anger to guidance. Similarly, in relationships, silence during conflicts creates a moment of understanding, a chance to listen deeply, both to the other person and to yourself. How to practice. Mindful silence. 1. Pause before you speak. In moments of conflict, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will my words help or hurt? If you're unsure, stay silent. 2. Listen more than you talk. Silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about creating space to truly hear others. 3. Use words as a last resort. Sometimes silence itself conveys understanding and compassion. When you must speak, choose words that heal, guide, or clarify. The Buddha once said, "Words have the power to destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change the world." This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or suppressing your feelings. It means choosing your moments and words wisely. Today, embrace silence where it matters most. Let it become a space for peace, reflection, and wisdom. Principle 9. Love your fate. Buddhist philosophy offers this profound teaching. Do not wish for events to happen as you desire. Desire them to happen as they do. Imagine standing in a rainstorm. You can curse the clouds and wish for the sun, or you can accept the rain, feel its coolness, and find joy in its rhythm. The rain doesn't change, but you do. Life often throws us storms we didn't choose. Financial struggles, career setbacks, relationships that don't unfold as planned. These moments test our resilience. But what if, instead of resisting, we embrace them? The root of suffering Buddhism teaches that suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Fighting reality creates tension. Acceptance brings peace. The craftsman's story. A craftsman spent months creating a beautiful statue. Just as he finished, an earthquake shattered it into pieces. Instead of mourning his loss, he gathered the fragments and crafted a unique mosaic, a masterpiece born from resilience. When life breaks your plans, you have two choices. 1. Resist and dwell on what could have been. 2. Embrace the cracks and create something new. How to love your fate. 1. Shift your perspective. When faced with difficulty, ask, what is this teaching me? 2. Reframe obstacles. See challenges as opportunities to strengthen patience, creativity, and adaptability. 3. Embrace impermanence. Life's storms are temporary. Just as they pass, so will your challenges. 4. Simplify desires. Let go of rigid expectations and align with the present moment. The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Loving your fate doesn't mean surrendering to despair. It means finding beauty in what is, even when it's not what you planned. Today, ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I embrace instead of resist? Principle 10. Remember you will die. Buddhism reminds us, let us postpone nothing, for tomorrow is not promised. This truth may feel unsettling, but it holds transformative power. We often live as if time is infinite, pushing off important actions and dreams. But imagine waking up knowing today is your last. Who would you call? What words would you say? When we remember that life is finite, our priorities shift. Petty concerns fade, and we focus on what truly matters. The corporate ladder story. A man spent his life chasing success and wealth. At the end, he realized he had neglected the people who mattered most, missed countless moments, failed to express love. Only then did he wish he had valued inner peace and connection over external rewards. Living with urgency. 1. Act now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. 2. Prioritize what matters. Invest in relationships and meaningful experiences. 3. Express gratitude. Each breath is a gift. Appreciate it. The Buddha warned, the trouble is, you think you have time. Reflection. What have I been postponing that I can do today? Let go of trivial concerns and embrace life's fleeting beauty. Final reflection. Flow like the river. Life flows like a river, finding its way around obstacles without resistance. We have explored 10 guiding principles. 1. Embracing imperfection. You are enough. 2. Practicing mindfulness. True peace is in the present. 3. Shifting perspective. It's not what happens, but how you see it. 4. Letting go of entitlement. Life owes us nothing but gives us everything. 5. Accepting change. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates growth. 6. Cultivating forgiveness. Release the past to free yourself. 7. Embracing silence. True wisdom comes in stillness. 8. Loving your fate. Joy is found in accepting what is. 9. Remembering mortality. Live now, love now, be now. At the heart of all these teachings is a single truth. Let go. Let go of control. Let go of fear. Let go of resistance. Because when you do, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. Peace, clarity, freedom, love.